Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Thanks for making us a part of your Monday. Hope that work week's off to a good start, and the end of it should be good. LSU baseball coming at you Friday afternoon, first pitch at 2 o'clock. So right about now on Friday, we'll have the first hour of the show. We'll talk some baseball on Friday, then we'll probably transition to something else because y'all will all be locked into that. But I'm very much looking forward to it. And I was out at the box on Saturday, and I was thinking to myself, man, there are a lot of people here. There were enough people on Saturday out at the box that they were literally doing promos over the loudspeaker. They gave away a case of Powerade to a lucky seat number. They were like, it felt like a game in some senses. And I was looking and I was like, man, there may be more people at this baseball scrimmage than there are at the basketball game later tonight. I'm told that's not true. I did not make it to the basketball game, but I'm told there were more people at the basketball game, but probably slightly more people. Georgia beat LSU 83-71 in a game that was just pretty unremarkable and pretty predictable. I talked about it on Friday. I said, look, this game's probably going to be pretty high scoring. Georgia scores a lot of points. LSU allows a lot of points. Georgia allows a lot of points, and LSU is a functional offensive team. LSU just didn't shoot the ball well at all in this game, and when they do that, they're bad. They only scored 71 points against a Georgia team that has really, really struggled defensively. And they only scored that many 71 points because they were 5 of 23 from the three-point line. And this is something Matt McMahon talked about last week and has talked about a bunch over the last 2 weeks. They get drilled in the three-point statistic, meaning they're bad at guarding it and they're bad at shooting it. And in this game, Georgia made 10 threes. They were 10 of 25 from three. That's 40%. And that is a 5 3-pointer advantage. That's 15 points that Georgia had an advantage there, and they win the game by 12. So I was really surprised when I woke up on Saturday morning and LSU was a 1.5-point favorite in this game. I just did not see it that way at all. And it played out the way I thought. Georgia was able to do really whatever they wanted offensively. They shot 51% in the game. They shot 40% from three. The only reason the game stayed within 12 points was because Georgia was awful at the free throw line. They shot 54%, just 13 of 24 from the free throw line in the game. Everything else was kind of a wash. The rebounding was very similar. Georgia won at 36-34. Turnovers were what? 11 for Georgia, 14 for LSU. Points off turnovers, Georgia had 23, LSU had 21. You look at fast break points, LSU had 18, Georgia had 17. It was not a game that was lopsided in any way. Georgia was just a little bit better, and they won because they were a little bit better the whole game. They won the first half by 5 points. They won the second half by 7 points, and that's how you get your 12-point win. And it's an LSU team that has now lost 4 games in league play on its home floor. Obviously, there's no way to keep up if you continue to do that. I told you at the Mississippi State game that it was a must-win. They lost it, and they've lost a couple since. On 3 today came out with basically a hot seat list in college basketball, and Oklahoma's Porter Moser was on it, but he said that Matt McMahon at LSU was on the hottest seat in college basketball. And y'all know where I stand on this. The first day I took this show, it was Hunt and Hill, I sat in this very chair, and I told you, I am not going to be fire the coach guy. I'm not going to tell you fire the coach. That is one line I'm not going to get up to and step over. Just the way it is. But we can analyze the situation. And right now, you've reached the half-point mark in league play, and you have 2 wins. So, obviously, you know where this thing is headed. They have gotten to a point that is beyond, that they can't recover from it. And it's disappointing to look at this team as it was constituted and think about the fact and what it could look like with De'Don Thomas and Jalen Reed. But the fact of the matter is, injuries happen. You've got to create depth, and you got to go play. And LSU has played and has played poorly and has gotten beaten by the best teams in the league, the worst teams in the league. South Carolina, I believe, is the worst team in the league, and South Carolina came to the Assembly Center and beat LSU. And then you got middle-of-the-pack teams like Georgia that are beating you too. And I wonder how much effort you're going to continue to get. My guess is a lot. But here's what's coming up. You play Arkansas, who has probably the best player in the league. That game's coming up tomorrow. Then you're at Tennessee. Then you're at Texas. Then you've got Alabama. And then you got to go on the road to Ole Miss. That, to me, looks like 5 losses. So, this is probably the most treacherous spot on the schedule, and you're coming in having lost 4 of 5, including a couple of home games to teams that are not anywhere near the top of the league in Mississippi State and Georgia. You were non-competitive with Georgia. You lost by double digits to Georgia. You were non-competitive with Mississippi State. You lost by double digits to Georgia. So this situation is what it is, and I think this is my only kind of talking point on this season at this point. There's no need for divisiveness. There's no need for vitriol. There's no need for anger or rage of any kind. I'm sure there's frustration in the basketball program as well. There should be. I think this team was okay, and it just didn't work. But it's a fait accompli at this point when you look at the situation entering the season. You look at their win and loss record right now, and you look at their schedule. And that's a bummer because I want LSU basketball to be really good. I have a blast doing it. You could make an argument. It probably wouldn't hold up. You could make an argument that I'm in this chair right now because of LSU basketball. I don't think that's technically true, but I was out of media, out of it. And I started doing Hoops with Hunt because I love LSU basketball. I like talking about hoops. And that kept me around. I would go on Matt's show every once in a while, even though I was just selling insurance. And then a spot opened up and they thought of me. So, it's not a crazy thought to suggest that I'm here because of LSU basketball. I want them to do well. They're just an irrelevant program right now. And I see a lot of back and forth online about the basketball program. Well, who cares? In this day and age, you got revenue sharing. You got to kind of pick what you're going to be good at. Football's always going to drive the bus. We want to donate money towards baseball. We want to put things into baseball. Women's basketball is doing really well. Gymnastics is awesome. Who cares about men's basketball? And to that, I would say, that's not a reasonable thing to say. There is no real reason that LSU should, 1, not care, and 2, not be good at basketball. The state doesn't produce a lot of great basketball players, but in this day and age, that doesn't matter. None of Alabama's players are from Alabama. None of Duke's players are from North Carolina. You can go get players from anywhere. And LSU should be invested in men's basketball and should be more competitive than this in men's basketball. There is no reason whatsoever that Florida should have a significantly better men's basketball program than LSU. No reason whatsoever that Alabama should have a significantly better basketball program than LSU. No reason whatsoever that Auburn or Tennessee should have significantly better basketball programs than LSU. Kentucky, sure. North Carolina, sure. But Auburn does not have one significant advantage over LSU in terms of basketball, except their arena's newer. That's it. LSU's got more history. It's got the state to itself. And Auburn hired a great coach, and they got really good and made the Final Four. Bama plays in a barn. Coleman is a dump. LSU's got better basketball history than Alabama, and Alabama got in there, and they invested, and they're really, really good every year. And so this notion of an LSU fan going, who cares? Baseball's coming up. We'll just deal with that. Nobody loves the baseball program more than me. Nobody. That doesn't mean you just have to just wave basketball off and just drag the month of January from signing, we should be signing day, from the end of the bowl season to the first pitch. You can be good at basketball in the middle of that. So I wouldn't suggest that the administration at LSU feels the way that some of these LSU sports fans feel. It's basketball, whatever. But I would suggest that it hasn't been prioritized to the level that it should be. It's a revenue-producing sport. LSU should be putting resources into it. I've had this conversation in private. I've had it on the air. Everybody kind of knows the situation with the revenue-sharing dollars. Every school is going to have to decide how they want to allocate it. And if I brought 10 LSU fans in here and let them cut that pie chart any way they wanted to, it would look 10 different ways. But one of the pieces of that pie needs to be men's basketball, and they need to be better than they are right now. And that's just a fact. It's depressing to go into the Assembly Center empty and watch LSU get boat raced by mediocre teams. And Georgia's mediocre. And Mississippi State is mediocre. And South Carolina stinks on ice. And they came in there and dusted LSU. So, like, you got to be better than they have been. And it's something that LSU needs to take seriously. I believe they will. But those fans that go, who cares? Like, I care. Somebody needs to care. And right now, LSU just not very good on the hardwood. They'll play Arkansas tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the Maravich Center. So we'll see how that goes. All right, chugging along here on a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Fabry Chevrolet GMC. You know, they service all makes in the service department at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. So if you're looking for somebody to service that vehicle, they can do it. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. If you're over in New Roads or over in Livonia, if you're over there in Ventress, get on over to St. Francisville and check them out. If you're in the Felicianas up to Woodville, go see my folks at Fabry Chevrolet. And certainly, if you're here in Baton Rouge, make the short drive up to Highway 61 in St. Francisville and see them. I told you in the last hour that they've got incredible truck savings. $11,000 off MSRP on Silverados, up to $13,000 off MSRP on GMC Sierras. Great APR financing options as well. And you know when you deal with the Fabry family, you're going to get quality customer service every single time. So make the short drive to Highway 61 in St. Francisville or check out that inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
NFL entered its offseason last night, around 10 o'clock or so. And one of the biggest pieces of the news cycle over the weekend was surprisingly involving the New Orleans Saints. And I got to say, I'm conflicted on this whole story. We'll flesh it out here, but Derek Carr's name is all over the headlines in NFL circles. ESPN Rappaport of NFL Network reported that it's likely that Derek Carr does seek a return to the league and went as far to suggest that the Minnesota Vikings would be a team very interested in bringing Derek Carr in. And I just didn't see this coming 10 months ago. I really didn't. Once Derek Carr hung it up, I just kind of dismissed him from my mind. And now he's back, and it's not as easy as just, okay, who do you want to sign with? The Saints still have Derek Carr's rights. They still have him under contract. He's on the retired list. And so the Saints would have to activate him, and then the Saints would get compensation, not unlike what they did with Sean Payton. And obviously, that's ideal. Like, something's better than nothing. So if Derek Carr just sits out, you get nothing. If Derek Carr does come back and you're able to get potentially some draft capital, I'm all for it. That's great. We'll talk about that if and when it happens. But what I now want to go back and drill deep into is, like, what happened here? And I hate and always very quickly push back against, like, conspiracy stuff. I think it's just allows people to do way too much on the internet. Oftentimes things that are completely fabricated become what people believe to be true. And I push back against a lot of that stuff. And so this is not necessarily a conspiracy, but the Saints fans will, I believe, be pretty quick to go, this guy's just a quitter. Screw him. He sucks. Like that. That's like the default here. And so my instinct is to go, wait a second. Like, are we sure? And so I start to, like, just go through everything that I know. And it just feels like Derek Carr had the worst public relations situation, and he brought it on himself in New Orleans. And it wasn't as if Derek Carr played really poorly for the Saints. He didn't. He was okay. It wasn't as if I felt there was a lack of effort. I thought Derek Carr obviously was playing through significant pain in that first season as a Saints quarterback. I mean, that game in Kansas City, he looked like a piñata. I thought he was giving effort. I just think he came across so unlikable. Like, the public relations of it all just spiraled on him. Like, usually the head coach is going to take the fall for that. And look, a lot of folks didn't like Dennis Allen a lot. But somehow Derek Carr managed to sweep in there in a time where Saints fans were super sensitive because they were losing. He just kind of exacerbated it with his demeanor in the yelling match with Eric McCoy and the way he conducted himself on the sideline. It just, again, I didn't feel like there was a lack of effort, and it wasn't if he played exceptionally poorly. He just looked smug and unlikable. And I don't know Derek Carr, and I'm always cautious with celebrities and athletes of like lauding someone personally or attacking someone personally because I don't really know them. But my sense is that while he's not necessarily the coolest kid in school, that Derek Carr is a pretty decent dude. Pretty decent husband, pretty decent dad. That's my sense. I can't know it. I don't know him. But I think he's a decent dude. He just came across so poorly. And that caused, with the losses, the fans to turn on him. And I think he was hurt last year. But I also think there is truth to him just looking at this going, I'm out of here, man. Like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And that sounds like a lazy, easy thing for us to assume, but aren't the facts starting to pile up here? Like, he could have just missed the year and then come back and try to get with the Saints, but essentially he looked around and went, well, Dennis brought me in here, and now he's gone, and they just drafted a quarterback. Like, I'm just going to sit. And maybe he knew all along he was going to come back. And quite honestly, like, I'm glad it's played out the way it has. Because the Saints got a quarterback out of the draft. He got a chance to play this year. He looks pretty good. And if Derek Carr wants to come back and get the Saints draft compensation, how many times do we have to tell you how important this Saints draft is? It's massive. So this has all worked out great for the Saints. And Derek Carr's kind of been the scapegoat of it all. I'm ready to put the Dennis Allen era in the rearview mirror in a hurry, quite honestly. Like, that was just, not only was it bad, it was boring. And Derek Carr was a front man in that whole situation. But if the result of Derek Carr looking at this going, yeah, I'm hurt, might not be able to play this year, but I just don't want to be with the Saints anymore. Like, I'm out. If that is what happened, like, we'll just thank your lucky stars. Because there's a world where Kellen Moore is calling plays for Derek Carr last year. And I think we're all aware, like, what Derek Carr is. And it's not going to get significantly better. You have no real chance of having an elite level quarterback with Derek Carr on your team. Now, you can look at the game last night and say, well, Sam Darnold just won a Super Bowl. And you're right. With the best defense in the league by a wide margin. But most of these teams that reach where they do in the playoffs do so in large part due to the quarterback play that they get. And Derek Carr is never going to be that dude. So for the Saints to be able to move on, injury or fake, whatever, and to have landed on Shuck and now potentially to get a draft pick in compensation, well, I don't care how you got there. The result's good. Derek Carr will have some explaining to do, and hopefully for his sake, the PR is a little bit better than it has been. But this was just an absolute mess in New Orleans. And I think you just kind of look at that era. Just what a botch it was to hire Dennis Allen, who had failed previously, and what a botch it was to sink $100 million into Derek Carr. And when you get those two positions wrong, you have no shot. None. And the Saints had no shot with those two guys in their positions. Now, you got a shot. You don't have a guarantee that you're going to be really good. You don't have a guarantee that you're going to be one of the best teams in the league, but you got a shot. So I'm hoping Derek Carr comes back very soon. And I'm hoping that the Saints are able to go ahead and get some draft capital for that. I'll take whatever you got. 6th rounder? Sure. 2 7ths? Sure. I don't know what the going rate is for a past his prime, took a year off, banged up quarterback. I don't know what the currency rate of exchange is on that. But whatever I got, I'll take it because anything is better than nothing. And if Derek Carr is going to do Carr YouTube videos with his brother, you're going to get nothing. If he comes back and wants to play for the Vikings, you get something, and I'll take it for sure. So let's hope Derek Carr makes that decision here pretty shortly. There are a few teams potentially in the mix, and hey, if they can create a bidding war, that's even better. See who comes up with the best deal. We like that for sure. So what a bad era that is in Saints football, and Derek Carr kind of the front man for that. What are the odds the Saints are going to get something out of this, Jordan? I think pretty good.
Really high. I mean, it just goes to show you that if you just keep living, man, the Lord will shine his light again on you. He's shining his light on the
night
city.
is darkest before the dawn, they say.
You know, it just goes to show you, man, keep your head in the game because you never know you might get blessed. If Derek Carr comes out of retirement and then the Saints are able – see, I feel like a used car salesman. I know I'm finna sell you a lemon, but you don't know that. Like the Vikings, they're so done with McCarthy. They're really finna do this and pay for this man.
Yeah.
I mean, Hunt. I mean.
Meanwhile, you got Tyler Shuck riding on parade floats, wearing the jersey, hanging out uptown.
Slow down a little bit with the throws. You know, we'll work on that. You know, it's his first time. We're gonna work on that.
Just peppering people.
Yeah, you know, we're gonna work on that, man. He would have beamed. I know he beamed a couple people, but we're gonna work on that. But the Lord has shined his light. Or Derek Carr, if he just does this, man, I mean, I hate to say, I might give me a Carr jersey, like just hang it up in the rafters. Just what he does.
Something tells me you're not going to do that.
But look. You go to Goodwill right now. I mean, you may be able to get a Carr jersey for like $2.
You can.
Yeah,
I bet the thrift stores are. I mean, if they're not being used for dartboards or dishwashing cloths, you might be able to find them at the Goodwill.
Cheap.
All right, let's keep chugging. We got 30 minutes to go here on this Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
February's Heart Month. Awesome time to focus on your overall health and wellness. A lot of folks get into that in January. Keep it going in February. That's thanks to our friends at Ochsner. Look, heart disease is the number one cause of death for men and women, and so often it is preventable. Try to stay active with regular exercise. Eat a balanced diet that's got fruits and vegetables and whole grains. Try to manage your sleep and try to manage your stress. Avoid smoking. Limit that alcohol content. And look, go see your primary care provider. That's your partner in prevention. They can help monitor blood pressure, cholesterol, and overall heart health. Do your regular checkups. Early detection and guidance can keep you on track for a healthy heart. So make your heart a priority this Heart Month. Schedule your primary care appointment at ochsner.org/brprimary. Those small steps today can take a stronger heart into tomorrow. Check in with your doctors and make sure you're on track for a healthy 2026. Locations throughout Louisiana. Check them out at ochsner.org.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Some good content coming out of the LSU baseball Twitter accounts today. They tweeted 6 hours ago. What time was that tweet sent? Let's see, 8:01 a.m. So I think it's probably a scheduled tweet. It's officially baseball season. They had the guys with a little bit of a dramatic touch and video. I've got a chance to go out there on Saturday, as I mentioned, and see the new Intimidator with my own two eyes. Looks awesome. We talked about it when they unveiled it because they put it out on Twitter, but it's so symmetrical now with the 8 titles. They've stacked 4 on top of 4 instead of just a straight line with 7. Looks really, really good, and it's almost here. We're here on Friday. LSU will lace them up at 2 o'clock and play. I want to talk a little bit about starting pitching. We've discussed it a little bit, and I talked about William Schmidt in the first hour. If you missed that, William Schmidt had probably his best outing of the preseason over the weekend. He struck out 11 on Friday, and it was in 4 innings of work, didn't allow a run. And he will give LSU an opportunity to be the best they can be if William Schmidt pitches to that capability. And that's what I spent a lot of time talking about in the first hour. And I think I'm going to be fascinated to see how this all plays out over the course of the first 4 weeks. Let me set the schedule for you because it's a little different. They will start with a wraparound weekend this weekend. They will play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then they'll play again on Wednesday. So they're going to play 5 games in their first 6 days. And then at that point, they go to Jacksonville. And they play 3 games in Jacksonville. They play Indiana, Notre Dame, and Central Florida. So you've got Milwaukee, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then you've got Kent State on Monday, Nichols on Wednesday, and then you go to Jacksonville. I think they're going to treat these first 5 games very similarly. And I think there's a chance, based on matchups, that someone that Jay Johnson feels like is a weekend starter might start on Monday or Wednesday just because he likes that matchup better. That's the day he wants to get him out there based on the next time they're going to pitch. It's not your traditional Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. It's a little bit more jumbled than that. So you can kind of treat it like one series to start, and you can get a look at a lot of different guys. And that's what Jay Johnson's going to do. I think he will want to have it set I think he'll want it set up for that second weekend best he can. And I don't think anyone is going to overextend on the first week to the point where they'll be compromised in week 2. I don't know that you're going to send somebody out there the Wednesday before you go to Jacksonville for 101 pitches. Like, that's not going to happen. Starters are probably going to be limited to closer to 70. And in some cases, it may be closer to 50. Just depends. And they got to get a lot of different guys innings. That's another reason they play so many games early. They got a lot of pitchers they're trying to get to the mound. I think he'll probably want to have things set up for that second weekend. But maybe it's not until the third weekend. And by the way, the third weekend is a wraparound too, where they'll play Dartmouth and Northeastern, and it goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They finally get back to a more traditional schedule the week before league play. They got Sacramento State Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then they've got a Tuesday with Creighton at home, and then they'll go to Vanderbilt for a Friday start. So nothing's really normal until you get to the week before league play. And Jay Johnson's got a lot of options. And so I talked to somebody inside the program, and if there may be a guy that doesn't start Friday, Saturday, Sunday the first week that they think in their head will be a weekend starter against Vanderbilt. But because of the days of the week, the rest schedule, and matchups, it may look a little bit different. That's what I'm told. So, and that may mean Kason Evans doesn't pitch on Friday. It's possible. They're going to look at different options. So what I'm bracing you, the fan, for is perhaps you see something this weekend in the starting rotation and think that doesn't look right. There's a plan behind it all, and it affects things more down the line than just this weekend. So that's a precursor to this whole thing. Then, okay, well, who are your options to start? And I think the options to start are Kason Evans, Cooper Moore, Cooper Williams, William Schmidt, Zach Cowan. That's your primary 5, I think. You could potentially throw Jaden Newt in there. And then there, maybe down the line, Marcos Paz, because of his talent, maybe. But I think the first 5 is where this thing's going to start. And my opinion is that Zach Cowan is going to find his way into the bullpen. I think if LSU, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whichever is the first time there's a tight game in the middle to late innings, 6th on, I think Zach Cowan and Gavin Guidry are first there because they've done it before. I don't think that's the spot you just dump Marcos Paz in and go, hey, go get him. That like he would get a low leverage spot, I think, first. But if you're trying to finish a game, I think Cowan goes to the back end. So that takes him out of my initial group. That gives me, now I've got Kason Evans, Cooper Moore, William Schmidt, Cooper Williams. That's 4 guys, right? Coincidentally, you've got 4 games on the opening weekend, Friday to Monday. And now, with weather, potentially Saturday might be compromised. I don't want to get into that on Monday, but that possibility's out there, right? And if you've got 4 guys and you got 4 games, that makes some sense. Remember, things rarely finish the way they start. Riley Cooper was in LSU starting rotation to begin 2023. Ty Floyd was not. Last year, Chase Shores was a starter. He became your closer. Like Anderson and Ianson were consistent, but you took Shores out of his starting rotation spot and plugged Case and Evans in, and then he came out of the starting spot. And then by the time you got to needing starters at the end of the season, Zach Cowan got those 2 starts, and he hadn't started games all year. Things evolve. That's the beauty of the baseball season. And there's a lot of competition. Based on preseason performance, Cooper Moore's been excellent. Cooper Williams has been excellent. William Schmidt spiked and was sensational in his last start. And Case and Evans started off a little bit bumpy and closed a little bit stronger. So Jay Johnson's got options. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to do a lot of research on Milwaukee baseball. I don't find that to be helpful in the transfer portal era. You're going to have a lot of turnover on every team in the country. And the fact of the matter is that Milwaukee is dealing with high temperatures in the mid-20s all week and has been for the whole winter. So you're not getting a representative sample of the Milwaukee team that played last May. They haven't been outside. So I'm more concerned with how LSU performs as opposed to what the matchup looks like and trying to glean anything from that. This is an LSU thing early in the season. You got to handle your business. And I think all 4 of those guys will get an opportunity. And whoever handles themselves the best, I think will stay in those spots. I wrote a starting pitching preview for LouisianaSports.net today, and I said I'm betting the most on Cooper Moore as a starter. I think he's done it before. He started 14 games last year. I think he's going to be in there, and my gut tells me he starts 14 weekends. I think Case and Evans is a good bet to start a game this weekend, and it could be the first one. What William Schmidt showed over the weekend is going to earn him a big role. And then I think that one, Cooper Williams' performance has been very good. 2, he's got the differentiator. He's left-handed. And I spoke at length about Cooper Williams 2 weeks ago and how it's not elite stuff, but he's missing bats and he's getting a lot of outs. That's all I'm asking for. He did it last year in the regular season, in the postseason, and again in the preseason. I mean, you're talking about a guy in Cooper Williams who had an ERA under 2 last year for LSU. And a lot of that was midweek stuff. A lot of that was some mop-up duty. But, he got a lot of outs. And Evans did too. There are options here. But to put a bow on this, and I talked about it in the first hour, but that was an hour ago, and I don't think a ton of y'all are still locked in. For those that are, appreciate you. But if you're new and didn't hear my baseball segments in the first hour, I will say this on February 9th. I'll say it on March 9th. I'll say it on June 9th. The way that this team makes it to its best form is with Case and Evans and William Schmidt becoming stars. I don't think Cooper Moore is going to become a star. I think he can be a great option for LSU in Game 3s. I think that would be a leg up for LSU most Sundays and Game 3s. But the best way to do this thing is to get a Holman jump situation, to get an Anderson Ianson situation. And your best chance at that is Evans and Schmidt. And Schmidt showed you something this past weekend if you were out there. Hopefully that carries over. Musso and I did our preseason preview. It's a YouTube video. It's on the Watch 104 ESPN YouTube stream. If you want to check that out, you can find it on the channel. It's also on our social medias. But I said in the course of our discussion, there are ways to do this that don't involve a 1-2 punch. I just prefer the 1-2 punch. And while you can't just roll out of bed and create Anderson and Ianson, you've got talent on this team, and you've got a pitching coach that is really good and the resources with Jamie Tutko in that pitch lab to get the most out of people. Not everybody can turn into Paul Skeens. In fact, almost no one can. But there's no doubt he improved. There's no doubt Cade Anderson improved. There's no doubt Anthony Ianson improved. There's no doubt Ty Floyd improved. There's no doubt that Chase Shores improved. Those guys all got significantly better. And if Schmidt and Evans can get better than they were last year, than they were in the fall, you've got as much talent there as you need. It's going to be fascinating to see how this first couple of weeks plays out. I think they're going to want to have things set up by week 4, and it may take until then. to get the schedule worked out and to get the guys ramped up to where you want them to be. Talent's not a problem. There are no holes on this LSU roster, only questions. This is a question, okay? Who are your starting pitchers? You got a group of 5, I think. I need 3 to emerge. I need 2 to become stars. That's the best way to win a championship. Unfortunately, that's incorrect. Fortunately, we get to have the discussions in January and February around here. How do you win a national championship? That would be kind of a ludicrous thing to talk about in some places. But in Baton Rouge, that's a conversation you've got to have. And so if we're talking about championships, stars are what wins them. You got to find those 2 guys. So I'm very, very interested to see how they throw the baseball this coming weekend. We'll talk some more about pitching as the week moves on. If you want to read about starting pitching, you can over on the website, louisianasports.net. I've got that up as of today. All the position previews. You got catcher, first, second, third, left, center, and right. And then we started with starting pitching today. So you've got a lot of baseball content at louisianasports.net if you want to check that out. We certainly appreciate y'all for doing that as we move forward. All right, let's talk about Boudreaux's Electrical, huh? Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Neil and Melissa have been running it for 40 years over there at Boudreaux's Electrical, and they're slinging Generac home standby generators. And we need those around here. We have power outages that come with hurricanes, that come with those summer storms. We had a winter storm in the state of Louisiana. It's just incredible to have the peace of mind to know that, hey, if our power fails, we've got that generator from the folks over at Boudreaux's. You've got a lot of options in buying your Generac home standby generators. If you've already bought from the big box store and you're getting no customer service on that, well, get the Boudreaux's Boost. That's for folks that have already purchased a generator and it wasn't from Boudreaux's, but you want to become a member of that team and have the folks at Boudreaux's make sure that your generator is running 365 days a year. That's what the Boudreaux's Boost guarantees you. So give them a call. The initial location over there in the 985 is 985-397-1562. Again, 985-397-1562. And you can check them out in Gonzales at 225-300-9389. Trusted electricians serving South Louisiana, powering your home, powering your business, powering a smarter world. That's a Generac home standby generator from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical. We'll come back and close it up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, just so you take a tour. It's baseball season, softball season. How about you go check out where they make the official bat of Major League Baseball? Started up in 2004 in a backyard shed. Now they're shipping 1,200 bats a day to the best players in the world. Spring training is upon us. Saw some beautiful footage of Alex Bregman out there in Mesa, Arizona with Cubby Blue on. Looks great. Know that your youth baseball season, your youth softball season's fired up. Go take the team on a tour of Marucci. Let them take some hacks in the cage. Maybe the weather's not great one day. Awesome place to go. If you just want to go check out the Hitter's House, you can do that. Take a tour, maruccisports.com/campus-tour. Every ticket comes with a 20% discount on the Hitter's House. It's, Marucci over there on Segan. Check them out online at maruccisports.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Closing up shop here on a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Appreciate y'all for making us part of your Monday. Hope that work week is off to a good start. I always remind you, check out louisianasports.net, free content. Got Ross Jackson all over the Saints with the Derek Carr news, as well as some Tyler Shuck thoughts from him there at louisianasports.net. And I've got a lot of LSU content there, especially on the baseball side. So you can check that out for free at louisianasports.net. All right, let's close it up with some Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Duke's head coach John Sires said a member of the coaching staff sustained injuries trying to get back to the locker room after North Carolina fans stormed the court following Saturday game. Well, immediately after the game, Shire told reporters that multiple coaches on the staff were punched in the face by fans. So as court storming needs to be banned. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I mean, it's just hard to police.
Very hard.
You got a bunch of students running on the floor. Like, how are you going to stop that? I mean, aside from like actual barriers, it's just a difficult thing to try to stop. Like, I realize it's not great, and I talk about this all the time. Like, asking intoxicated college kids to make really good decisions
Not a good
is a
idea.
foolish error. It just is what it is. Do I wish that LSU's student section wouldn't scream profanities every game 10 times a game? I wish they wouldn't do it.
I kind of like it.
It's never going to stop. So it is what it is. I'm hopeful that, people aren't punching people.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that was a little bit of an embellishment. But, hey, if North Carolina's going to hit a 3 at the buzzer to beat Duke, they're going on the court. Yeah. And that's what happened. So there it is.
All right, so New England Patriots rookie left tackle Will Campbell, LSU's very own, declined to speak with reporters after the game. While many other players for the Patriots did speak, he declined multiple times and left. So is it a bad look not speaking to the media after that performance? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I mean, it's a bad luck. It's not a crime. It's not a crime. It's not you're not gonna get suspended. And Will is by all accounts a great dude. He had a tough day, and that's the biggest game. He might be the biggest game he ever plays in. And we knew entering the game. I did a whole segment on him last week, just talking about, hey, this is a big spot for him, and he did not play well, and he knows that. It doesn't take a football savant to watch that and be like, hey, not great. And it's just tough. It's when you work your whole life for something and it's right there and you don't come through and do the things that you need to do. That's really hard. It's tough for us to put ourselves in that position. I wish you would have spoken to the media, but it's over. You move on, and I don't think that not talking to Will Campbell drastically compromised anybody's ability to do their journalistic work. Like, does he have potentially a quote there that helps? Sure. But it's not like he's the head coach. He's not the quarterback. He's left tackle who didn't play well. I wish he would have talked to the media, but I'm not gonna criticize him too much for it.
Yeah, I just feel like this kid's a rookie, man. Some of the discourse around Will Campbell's name right now, you would have thought he's a third, fourth year player. Like, he's still learning. He's still going to get better. It was a rough day. I've seen a lot of
the PFF grades are out. Let's see how he did.
So what are we looking at?
Will Campbell blocking 38.2 on offense, 53.1 run block, 32.9 pass block. He allowed 8 pressures, 6 hurries, a hit, and a sack in the game. Also penalized once in 71 snaps. So, yeah, it was a tough day. Tough day at the office.
I can't even. Those numbers did not do us any type of justice. So, we talked about Lindsey Vonn last week. So, the father of Lindsey Vonn expresses his hope that the former gold medalist is done skiing competitively after following her crash she just had. Vonn suffered a fractured left leg during her downhill final, and this goes to show that she also tore the ACL in that left leg. So before the crash, so should Vonn just walk away, man? Take it or leave it.
Yeah, she's lucky she can walk. Period. I'll take it. I mean, this is it. She's 40 years old. She's not coming back to do anything significant. She wanted to give it one more shot, and I think it was foolish, but look, it's her life's work, and she has one more chance to do it, and I can't just tell you that she can't. So it was a predictable outcome. It was a horrific scene, and I'm thankful that all she had was the broken leg. But I can't tell someone who's put their entire life into something, hey, you can't do it. It's a hard thing to do. So that is what it is.
It is. So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
You watched any Winter Olympics?
Nah, man, I'm going to be real. I don't even know where it's at right now. You know what country it's in?
Italy?
You know, Cassie?
Yeah, you said yeah.
It's in Milan.
Milan, yeah.
Okay,
I see, Fletcher Mackel's there for the TV station in New Orleans, and I've seen some of the stuff he's done. I just don't care about the Winter Olympics. It's too many things that require a judge, or it's a race, but it's one at a time. And I just don't want to watch that. If you're racing, I need everybody to go, like track and swimming. I just can't do one guy down this hill, one guy down the hill, one guy down the hill. I don't like that. I don't like judges. I don't care about figure skating. I just can't. Apparently, there's some badass figure skater that does quadruple axles and stuff. But
Quad God.
I got nothing on the quad God. I don't care about judges.
I think my issue is that we're not in a cold weather environment, so I have no clue about any of these sports or snowboarding or skiing. I would like to do it one day, but I haven't done it. No.
I don't have any interest in doing it either. But bobsled, one at a time.
The bunnies.
The luge, one at a time. The long jump, ski jump, one at a time. I can't tell who's winning. It's just not for me.
Not a big
I'm a summer.
no,
terrible. I love that once every 4 years the world pretends it likes curling.
Yeah.
Once every 4 years.
It's so cool.
It's not.
come on.
Sweep. I don't think so.
I think they're side by side on speed skating.
They are. Speed skating is a race.
The visuals look nice, but actually sitting there and being like, oh, I'm locked in with a downhill racing today.
I cannot get enough Summer Olympics. Give me all the
Yes.
volleyball. Give me all the water polo.
Track
give me
and
all the
field.
track. Give me all the swimming. I love the Summer Olympics.
Yes.
I can't do the winter. It's just not for me. That's it for us on a Monday. If you missed any of the show, catch it on demand. A lot of LSU baseball talk and some Super Bowl reaction as well. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. See you tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is that website. Lifetime Roofing's Baton Rouge-based roofing company services the entire state of Louisiana plus the Houston, Texas area. As of January 1st, they are thrilled to offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. That warranty covers the workmanship and the materials, which are backed by CertainTeed, one of the oldest and most trusted names in building materials. So if you may have some damage to that roof, let the folks at Lifetime Roofing come check it out. They can tell you if you need to do a repair. They can handle that. They can handle a new roof. They can also just do some fortifying if that's all that needs to be done. If you need that new roof and you're looking for financing, they've got it 0% up to 18 months. They are also able to help you financing if you've got a hefty deductible on that policy.